Welcome, everyone, to Congregation Va-Dor's Touch of Jewish History tonight. We have the life and career of Natalie Portman, and I thank you all and welcome you all, and thank you for being with us. I'm going to get started with a little bit of background, and then we'll get right into the videos. Natalie was born Natalie Hirschlag on June 9th, 1981 in Jerusalem, Israel. She's the only child of Avner Hirschlag, her father, an Israeli-born doctor, a fertility specialist and gynecologist, and Shelley Stevens, her mother, an American-born artist from Cincinnati, Ohio. Her parents are both of Ashkenazi Jewish descent. Natalie is descended from Holocaust survivors. Her grandparents lost most of their family members in the Holocaust, including her paternal great-grandparents who were killed at Auschwitz. Natalie's family left Israel for Washington, D.C. when she was 3 years old. After a few more moves, her family finally settled in Long Island, New York. She attended Jewish day school at Solomon Schechter in Glen Cove, New York. She entered the Intel Science Talent Search while in high school. She graduated from Syosset High School in 1999. Her three best friends are still her best friends from Syosset. She graduated from Harvard University in 2003 at the age of 22 with a BA degree in psychology. She said, "I don't care if college ruins my career. I'd rather be smart than a movie star." She was discovered by an agent in a pizza parlor at the age of 11. She was pushed towards a career in modeling, but she decided that she would rather pursue a career in acting. She was featured in many live performances, but she made her powerful film debut in the movie Leon the Professional. She adopted her stage name of Portman, which was her paternal grandmother's maiden name. It was not until 1999 that Natalie received worldwide fame as Queen Amidala in the prequel Star Wars Episode I. Natalie was first nominated for an Oscar for the film Closer in 2004. She reprised her role as Padme Amidala in the last two episodes of the Star Wars prequel trilogy, Episode 2 in 2002 and Episode 3 in 2005. She received an Academy Award and a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress for her role in the film Black Swan in 2010. She received a third nomination for Best Actress for playing Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis in the film Jackie in 2016. Natalie has absolutely made the most out of her life. She's not just an award-winning actress, she's also a writer, scholar, director, and a mom. She was married to Benjamin Millepied for 12 years, a French ballet dancer who was the choreographer for the film Black Swan. She recently divorced in 2024. Natalie and Benjamin have two children, Elif, now 14, and Amalia, now 8. She is fluent in both English and Hebrew and speaks several other languages, including Arabic, German, French, and Japanese. In addition to her academic and linguistic abilities, she is an accomplished dancer and producer and has also directed films. Natalie has made 37 films over the course of the past 31 years. Some interesting tidbits about Natalie. Natalie Portman is the first person born in the 1980s to have won the Academy Award for Best Actress, Black Swan in 2010, so she is the first millennial to get an Academy Award for Best Actress. She owns and operates her own film production company, Handsome Charlie Films, with Annette Savage. Natalie is one of the founding members of the National Women's Soccer League team in Los Angeles, the Angel City, and is part owner along with other prominent investors, actors, athletes, and entrepreneurs such as Eva Longoria, Jennifer Garner, and Mia Hamm. She bears a striking resemblance to Keira Knightley Kira played Sabe, the Queen's decoy, in Star Wars Episode 1 in 1999. When in makeup, not even the mothers of the actresses could tell them apart. She is very close to her parents and says the best part about being friends with your parents is that no matter what you do, they always love you. She was named after Natalie Wood. She learned how to play the piano and conduct for the film Mr. Megorian's Wonder Emporium in 2007. Natalie is a spokeswoman for Finca, a financial charity who gives and recycles small loans to women in poverty-stricken countries so that they can start small businesses. Finca's president, Rupert Schofield, has spoken about feeling lucky to have Portman as a celebrity spokesman because she is extremely intelligent and committed. So without any further ado, I'm going to get right into the films.
She's gone from child dancer to Academy Award-winning actress. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be taking a look at the career of Natalie Portman.
I like hard things. I like difficult things. I don't know. I feel like I would be a good soldier.
Born on June 9th, 1981 as Natalie Hirschlag in Jerusalem, Israel, her family relocated to the United States when she was only 3 years old. Following several moves, they finally settled in Long Island, New York. There, she took dance lessons from age 4 and performed in local troupes. It was when she was 10 that a Revlon cosmetics agent asked her to become a model. Despite the opportunity, she turned it down to pursue her interest in acting. Ambitious and career-minded at a young age, she attended theater camps and earned a role as an understudy in the off-Broadway show Ruthless. In 1994, she took her grandmother's maiden name for her stage identity and landed her premiere role in the film Leon. Making her film debut at the age of 13 as Natalie Portman, she played the role of a child who befriends a hitman. Throughout the rest of the decade, she continued to land small roles in several films, including Heat, Everyone Says I Love You, and Mars Attacks. She finally secured a major role in Beautiful Girls. When casting William Shakespeare's Romeo plus Juliet, Portman was the first choice for the female lead opposite Leonardo DiCaprio. However, she was replaced due to her young age. Quickly recovering, she instead co-starred in 1999's Anywhere But Here, alongside Susan Sarandon. Portman was applauded for her astonishing performance, and she secured a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Following this major career turn, she was cast as Padme Amidala in the highly anticipated Star Wars prequel trilogy. Despite negative reviews of the films, the long-term project skyrocketed her to mainstream recognition.
All I want is your love.
Love won't save you, Padme. Only my new powers can do that.
At the same time, she took on the lead as a teenage mother in Where the Heart Is and moved into the dorms at Harvard University to pursue a bachelor's degree in psychology. Focused on her studies, she only returned to filmmaking in 2004, when she starred in the independent movies Garden State and Closer. For her role in Closer, she earned her first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress.
I love you!
Where?
What?
Show me. Where is this love? I can't see it. I can't touch it. I can't feel it.
The following year, she starred in the limited-release Israeli film Free Zone. She also took part in the equally low-key Spanish-American project Goya's Ghosts, and that film features her first nude scene. In a similarly shocking turn, she then portrayed herself as an angry gangster rapper on a 2006 episode of Saturday Night Live.
Damn, Natalie, you a crazy chick!
You shut the f*** up and suck my
She followed that up by shaving her head and adopting an English accent to play Evie Hammond in V for Vendetta.
Who are you?
Who is but the form following the function of what, and what I am is a man in a mask.
Well, I can see that.
Next, she appeared opposite Dustin Hoffman in Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, played Anne Boleyn in the historical drama The Other Boleyn Girl, and starred opposite Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal in the drama Brothers. Despite her string of commercially successful films, she achieved her greatest honor when she was given a Golden Globe and an Academy Award for Best Lead Actress for starring as a veteran ballerina in Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan. Returning to lighter fare in 2011, she starred in the romantic comedy No Strings Attached and as a warrior princess in the hilarious medieval fantasy adventure Your Highness. She rounded out the incredible year by appearing in the film adaptation of the comic book hero Thor. In the film, she played a scientist and the hero's lover, Jane Foster. An accomplished actress, this young Oscar-winning Hollywood starlet is also well known as an advocate for animal rights and continues to be a voice rallying against third world poverty.
Our next one will be an interview with David Letterman show when she was 13 years old.
Our next guest is just 13 years old and currently co-starring in her first motion picture entitled The Professional. You know, folks, at 13, I still had training wheels. And when I say that, I mean on my bicycle. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 8th grader Natalie Portman. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I understand you got out of school a little bit early to come and be on the program.
Yeah.
That's great, isn't it?
I miss tech.
Tech. What is tech?
Technology.
Technology? What kind of technology?
We had to make cars out of a piece of wood, and I was about to drill a hole in my wood, and I was really scared, and I'm holding it, and they're like, "Will Natalie Portman please come to the front office for early dismissal?" And I was like, "Yes."
So now when you say you're making cars, you're making like for the family? You're building them a car out of wood?
No, they're like this big.
Do you like that?
No.
Uh-huh. Well, is there any way you could do all kids 13 have to take this wood car building class?
Yep.
Really? No kidding. What's your favorite class?
Math.
Are you good at math?
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you know anything about like algebra?
That's what we're taking.
That's what you're taking.
Math sequential one.
Yeah. See, I never knew anything about algebra. It just didn't make any difference. I couldn't figure it out.
And look where you are.
Exactly. I'm doing pretty well. You know, do you ever get a chance to watch this show? Do you ever stay up and see this show?
I usually watch on Friday nights because
that's a good night to watch.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun on Friday.
Because I can't, wake up late for school or anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do your folks mind you staying up to watch?
Yeah.
They don't like that.
No.
Are your parents in show business?
No. My dad's an infertility specialist, and
Wow.
when I was little, they asked,
Now, why do people giggle about that? He's doing a lot of wonderful work for folks, isn't he?
Yeah, he's helping a lot of people, but it's pretty funny because when I was in nursery school, the teachers asked me, what does your dad do for a living?
Yeah.
So I said he helps women get pregnant. And they called my mom and they're like, well, what exactly does your husband do?
Yeah. And that's why now they've got you building wooden cars.
Exactly.
Now, was I right when I said that you got this movie as a result of kind of a nationwide, if not worldwide, talent search?
Yeah, I think so.
This is your first movie?
Yeah.
You had never done any acting before this?
I did like local theater and stuff.
Yeah. And how did you get into acting, and what age did that begin?
Is this like a two-part question?
We can have you back in tech just like that.
Please, no.
All right, how old were you when you started?
Well, when I was 10 years old, after dance class, I went to a pizza parlor, and a guy from Revlon was there, and he wanted me to model for Revlon. So he introduced me to modeling agents, and I told him I don't want to model, I want to act. So they introduced me to acting agents.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? It's like a dream come true. That's like the American dream.
Yeah,
Don't you
I guess
think?
so.
I mean, no. I mean, you're very lucky. You should never forget how lucky you've been. This turned out very nicely for you. Okay, so then how do you get the part in this film?
So then I went, my first audition, and they
What'd
said...
they have you do at the audition?
Well, I just walked in, I went to the bathroom, and I came out...
That's the strangest audition I've ever heard of in my entire life.
I had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I see.
Oh, so I went to the bathroom, and when I came out, they're like, "You're too young. Go home." So I just went home without reading or anything.
Were you depressed about that? Were you saddened? Not really. No.
No big deal.
You got to use the bathroom. What do you care?
So then they called me back again, and I read, and then they called me back, and I read on tape, and then they called me back to meet with Luke.
You actually read part of the script?
Yes.
Yeah, how was that? Did that make you nervous? How did that go? What, do you remember the lines you had to read?
Yeah.
Yeah, what were they?
It was a scene, she just comes back from grocery shopping, and sees her parents dead on the floor.
Sees her parents dead on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, see, now I wouldn't have let you do this movie. I wouldn't have let you do this.
Aww.
See, I think this is bad, don't you? Doesn't it give you the willies, that kind of thing? Give you the creeps?
No, because after, you know, you see them lying on the floor with this fake blood all around.
Yeah.
They get up and they're like, hi.
So you're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay.
And then you got the part and you do the movie, and now you travel all over the world for the premieres. You were at a premiere in Los Angeles, premiere in Paris. How did that go? Was it fun?
In Paris, I fell asleep in the movie
Hey,
because
cool.
it's my 5th time seeing it. So I'm sitting there sleeping, and the director's next to me, and he's looking. He's like, "Natalie, wake up!" And he woke me up, and it was just before the movie was over. And so they turned on the lights, and he stood us all up, and everyone was applauding. And I was going like this because, you know, I just woke up, and everyone came up to me, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Why?" And I go, "Are you crying?" And I was like, "No, I just woke up."
And did that get you in trouble because people thought you were sleeping through the movie?
Yeah.
Did the director get upset about that?
Kinda, yeah.
What did he say?
Natalie, stop sleeping during the movie.
Does he have an accent?
Yeah. Quick.
What are you going to do? Are you going to stick around in town to go out to dinner or anything like that? Or you got to go right home?
No, I gotta go home.
Got to go right home?
I
You
have
got
a
to
social
study?
studies test.
Social studies? Yeah. How are your grades? You doing pretty well?
Yeah.
Now don't let this acting interfere with your grades, all right?
I won't, Dave.
All right. Well, got a very bad attitude. Natalie Portman, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you, Natalie. Congratulations.
The next one is she's older, and she's accepting an award from the Environmental Media Association, and she talks about being a vegan and animal rights. This is in 2017.
Thank you so much, Gina. I love Gina Rodriguez, the best. Such a lucky friend to have. Thank you for Gina and for the Emma Award tonight. This is a tremendous honor. Thank you for considering me worthy of it. You never forget your first time, and my first time at the Emma Awards was 7 years ago when I was presenting an award to my friend Jeff Skoll. And what struck me that night long ago, when we were all almost exactly 7 years younger, was the sense that the entire room had a true commitment to perhaps the most important cause in the world, namely our world. And recently I've produced a documentary, Eating Animals, which hopefully you will get to see soon. And it's a look at the factory farming system and problem in our country. And as you heard before from Russell a little bit, factory farming is responsible for most of the air, water, land pollution that disproportionately affects our poor communities as well. So we get to make decisions 3 times a day what we do with our planet, and you can make a difference by even once a day or once a week choosing not to eat animals or animal products. And many of you probably already do, but it's been an incredible influence on my life, and I'm sure many of you here. So I'm very excited to share that film with you. We face these threats together, what seems like an ever-growing list of fronts to face. It's truly an existential threat that requires an ongoing effort by all of us. And tonight, I am so thankful that my parents raised me with an awareness on these issues. It is worth remembering that a generation that stood against war in the 60s and 70s also stood up for this planet we call home. My own ongoing commitment began when I was 9 years old, singing with a group called the World Patrol Kids. I was thinking of singing one of the songs tonight, but I was worried that might be an environmental disaster in its own right. You can check it out on YouTube if you're really interested, but it's pretty embarrassing. But I do feel very lucky that I've had the chance to express my commitment in my life and my work, because the fact remains that none of us will be able to live and work if we don't have an environment in which to do it. A few years ago, I was incredibly inspired by Jonathan Safran Foer's book, Eating Animals, which is the basis of the documentary that I was lucky enough to produce. And we've been working to bring this message to the world through this documentary. I've been a vegetarian almost all my life and vegan for the past 6 years. And I'm increasingly committed to the idea that how we treat animals is powerfully connected to our relationship with the world itself, with the earth itself. When we think about food in a way of just what's fast and what's cheap, it affects the way we think about everything. It isn't just disposable. Our relationships need to matter. We need to care about what we're doing. We need to put effort into the food we grow, what we put into our bodies, and be conscious of what we put into our bodies. And I was lucky enough to show the film recently to students in Colorado. Many of them were from the city, and they were like, we know this information, this isn't new to us, but we don't have the opportunity to find this food. There's 4 McDonald's on our block and no place to buy an apple. And so this is a really large issue for our young people, especially our young people in cities today. And so tonight, as a World Patrol kid who's grown up and a mother herself now, I'm honored to be back with you to accept this award. May all of us tonight commit to doing whatever we can to ensure our planet and our children have the chance to enjoy the kind of future that is truly ongoing. Thank you all. Have a good night.
The next one I have for you is her tips on acting.
Be free, make mistakes, try things. This is a job about your imagination. You're making a movie influenced by life. You're making a character influenced by a human, and you want to make it as human as possible. What is their desire? Desire is at the root of everything. I have not been to a traditional drama school. I've been working for 25 years, and I learned by doing, and I piece together different things that are helpful for me that I want to share with you. Green screen acting is kind of the purest form of acting because you're inventing both what's outside of you and what's inside of you as an actor. We're gonna do a scene where I've just found out my boyfriend's cheating on me and I'm entering his apartment. You want to scour the space to see what you might use that would be emotionally relevant. Help the camera catch what's being read. Get very close to the camera to give a feeling of what you might be going through. When I was asked to play Jackie Kennedy, I was terrified, which is always a good reason to do something. I always work with a dialect coach.
For Jackie, every single syllable, every breath had to be exactly the same.
When you see where the breaths are, you can read what is sort of happening underneath what the person is saying. This is a joyful, creative process that you don't need to be afraid of making mistakes. Thank you. That's how you sneeze on cue. Your job is to imagine someone else's life. That is what we do. We say, I wonder what that person feels and thinks, and that's the experience in a movie theater. You're sharing this social experience with other people for 2 hours, caring about someone else's life. It's the act of empathy. I'm Natalie Portman, and this is my masterclass.
The next one I have for you is just a little bit about all her different movies that she's shown. And it talks about how one particular movie could have ruined her whole career.
In 1994, French director Luc Besson unveiled his latest movie, Leon the Professional. This action thriller centers on the titular hitman played by Jean Reno, who ends up taking a young girl named Matilda under his wing after her family is killed. The actress who played Leon's protege was none other than Natalie Portman, and her decision to join the production at just 11 years old marks the beginning of her big screen journey. Portman's portrayal of Matilda didn't go unnoticed, and with each subsequent role she took, her stock in Hollywood grew dramatically higher. It was during the 2000s that she really made waves, however, with movies such as V for Vendetta and Garden State. The next decade kept her busy too, with projects including Black Swan, Thor, and Annihilation. These days, Natalie Portman is a household name, having taken on several career-defining projects, earned numerous awards, and used her platform to spread awareness on issues near and dear to her. However, thanks to one now beloved science fiction blockbuster, all of this success could very well have never come to fruition. 1999 was a huge year for Natalie Portman, seeing it was the year she joined the cast of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Portman starred as Padme Amidala, the Queen of Naboo and an eventual key figure in the Galactic Senate, as well as the future wife of Anakin Skywalker and the mother of their twins, Luke and Leia. Naturally, landing a job like that should be the single greatest career move she could ever make, right? Well, not exactly, since George Lucas's second Star Wars trilogy was met with some seriously harsh reactions from critics. Not to mention the fact that the fandom fractured with each passing installment, putting immense pressure on the cast and crew. For Natalie Portman specifically, Revenge of the Sith came scarily close to ending her run on the silver screen. She did what she could with Lucas's notoriously weak dialogue and tried to give a convincing performance, but evidently it wasn't enough for most audiences. By her own admission to New York Magazine in 2014, she struggled to find acting parts in the wake of her stint in a galaxy far, far away, noting that Star Wars led many in the industry to believe she was a bad actress. Portman recalled, "I was in the biggest grossing movie of the decade, and no director wanted to work with me." One likely reason for Natalie Portman losing Hollywood's good graces post-Star Wars had to do with the direction of Padme Amidala's story. In The Phantom Menace, she was introduced as the intelligent, determined leader of Naboo, who fought back valiantly against the separatist invaders. Then, in Attack of the Clones, she showed that she wasn't afraid to take the fight to her enemies on the battlefield of Geonosis, or break every rule in the book to be with her true love. By the time Revenge of the Sith rolled around, however, much of Padme's character development and personality had suddenly disappeared. As a result of Padme's reduced role in the story, Portman didn't have a lot to sink her teeth into during filming on Revenge of the Sith. Her work amounted to delivering a few lines now and again and crying before somehow dying of sadness, something the film itself did a poor job of explaining. The movie effectively relegated Padme to a plot device designed to sell moviegoers on Anakin's transformation into Darth Vader. That's certainly not a good look for Portman herself, of course, and things weren't helped along by the fact that many of her better scenes were cut. In particular, one subplot involving Padme helping found the Rebel Alliance wound up on the cutting room floor.
We are not separatists trying to leave the Republic. We are loyalists trying to preserve democracy in the Republic.
I can't believe it has come to this.
It's plain enough to see that the actress and her character both got the short end of the stick. Thankfully, it didn't take too long for the stigma of Revenge of the Sith to wear off and for acting gigs to come Natalie Portman's way once again. Her career is still very much intact and will hopefully remain as such well into the future.
The next one I have is an interview that she did at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2015, and it's specifically about her movie when she was 13 years old, Leon.
You're known for putting a lot of time and effort into understanding the characters that you're playing and the worlds that they inhabit as well. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about that first film, about The Professional, and working with Luc Besson at that point, because you were quite literally a young student at that point. You were 11 years old when you started making that movie, and it must have been a risk in many ways. I think, for Luc Besson to find someone who could almost carry the movie. I mean, your character is very central to the film. It's really the two of you at the center of it. But also for you and for your family to make a movie as a child with all of the risks that entails for child actors. And if you can kind of cast your mind back to when you and your parents were making those decisions, what kind of risks were you thinking about? What was that like?
Yeah, it was definitely a big conversation in our household before they allowed me to do it. They were definitely, my parents are not related to the film industry at all, and they were very much like, child actors become drug addict prisoners, you know, like this is not the road we want you to take. And I really, really fought hard for it and cried and, you know, begged and pleaded. And it's also a really big deal for our family because obviously my mom came with me. My dad had to work in New York. And so it also separated the family for a long time, which, you know, I wasn't part of that conversation, but I'm sure my parents were. So, yeah, it was a really big gift that they gave me to trust me like that. And they protected me really well so that I was never subjected to any kind of weirdness that I've heard, you know, colleagues, peers of mine who were child actors saying that they had seen drugs or that they had like weird passes made at them. I never had anything like that because my parents were like hovering.
On it.
But then they also allowed me this great freedom, which was so kind, to go do what I loved.
So, although your mother is an artist and has and paints, as I understand, you didn't grow up in a stage family or an entertainment business family. How did you know when that role came up that you wanted it so badly?
Yeah, well, actually, my mom, like, the bane of her existence is that, like, someone wrote on my Wikipedia page that she was, like, my manager, and she's like, I'm not a momager, like, I never was, I never would take anything from you, like, she was so supportive, but, I mean, both my parents are supportive, but not, like, taking a percentage or anything, I was just always really into performing when I was little. I loved dancing and singing and putting on shows for the family. And because I lived on Long Island, a lot of kids on Long Island would do like commercials and audition for TV shows and stuff. And, you know, they'd put it into like a college fund or whatever money they made. So I knew people around me had like agents and that sort of thing. So I begged my parents if they would let me have an agent and then go on auditions. And they were nice enough to allow me. And I think it was sort of chance that the first thing I got happened to be like a good director and a good part, because, you know, if I had gotten like a Cheerios commercial first, I'd be like so happy, you know. Right. It wasn't like I was choosing a career path when I was that age.
Mm-hmm. We have a clip from The Professional that I want to show. This is where Matilda, your character, tells Leon that she wants to be a cleaner. You know what a cleaner means. And let's have a look at that clip from The Professional.
Read it. You don't know how to read.
I'm learning, but I had a lot of work lately, so I'm a little behind. What'd it say?
I've decided what to do with my life. I want to be a cleaner.
You want to be a cleaner? Here. Take it. It's a goodbye gift. Go clean. But not with me. I work alone. Understand? Alone.
Bonnie and Clyde didn't work alone. Thelma and Louise didn't work alone. And they were the best.
Matilda, why are you doing this to me? I've been nothing but nice to you. I even saved your life yesterday, right outside the door.
Right. So now you're responsible for it. If you saved my life, you must have saved it for a good reason. If you throw me out now, it's like you never opened your door. Like you let me die right there in front of it. But you did open it. So?
Matilda.
If you don't help me, I'll die tonight. I can feel it. And I don't want to die tonight.
Matilda, you're just a little girl, so don't take it badly, but I don't think you could do it. I'm sorry.
How's that?
Badass.
I don't think I've seen that since I was that age.
Really?
It's really embarrassing.
You're not one of those actors that watches your past work? No? Okay, no Norma Desmond. When you do look at it now, and it is so many years ago, what do you see yourself doing on screen there?
Oh my God, everything wrong. But I got to have some like forgiveness for my 11-year-old self, I suppose.
Yes. And you were working with Luc Besson, and he's of course had a long career in a lot of different kinds of films, fantasy, action in some cases. Interestingly to me, you worked with Scarlett Johansson on The Other Boleyn Girl, and of course she worked with him recently on Lucy, and two real kick-ass heroines. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, he's very good at giving women good, tough parts, I think.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking at this as a screenplay or as a project that's presented to you, and are you aware of those kinds of things, that this is a cool girl that I want to play, or what was it that drew you to it?
Yeah, I was really moved by the script. I mean, I was 11, so everything, and I was like a very dramatic child, so I was like, oh my God, she loves him, the normal sort of romantic preteen. Loved it, but also, like I said, I was really, really excited to like get a movie part. So, I think that was. I don't think I would have been like not interested.
There's something that I see in this scene here, and that I also saw in Beautiful Girls, where there's a kind of a grounded intensity to the characters that you're portraying on screen that sometimes disarms the people that you're with in the scene. There's a great scene where one of the first times you meet Tim Hutton in Beautiful Girls, and you're just standing outside, in your 2 yards, talking to each other, and he is a much older man, and you're at that point, your character's like 13 or something. Yeah. But he's disarmed by you. You can tell that he's the weaker person in that scene. And here, too, your character has a kind of a strength and a stillness that kind of unsettles much older men. What's that about?
Well, we could talk about this all night, but I think it's a trope of cinema, of course.
It's cinema, not you.
Yeah, to have, a young girl, very, very young girl, disarm a much older man, be so mature and intelligent and wise beyond her years, but yet nubile. So, yeah, I mean, it's not something that's particularly something I think is a good trend, and obviously it's like screenwriters writing like some fantasy of like a young girl who's like intellectually an equal, but like,
a young girl.
A young girl.
Right.
The next one I have for you is Natalie talking about all her movies. It's like a timeline of all her movies, and I think you'll enjoy this.
I wish I could say that there was some sort of like grand design for my career, but it's been very instinctive, I feel like, about what feels right for me at the moment and also what's available.
What exactly do you do for a living?
Cleaner.
You mean you're a hitman? Cool.
The Professional, which came out in 1994, it was the first film I made. I was 11 when I started. I turned 12 while we were shooting. It was so exciting, of course, my first time being on a set and getting to act with incredible actors like Jean Reno and Gary Oldman. And I remember also just being so excited by getting to be in Paris, because we filmed all the interiors in Paris. And so on the weekends, my mom would take me to like the Rodin Museum, or there's this place, Aqua Boulevard, that I really liked that was like a fake indoor beach where they had like waves and stuff. On set too, I think I remember like the playing more than anything. Everything felt like a game to me, and it was a really fun way to get to go into acting.
He's opened the door.
Shouldn't we go this way?
Sorry, ma'am. There's a tour going through here.
I felt so lucky to do Mars Attacks. I was 14, and Tim Burton was one of my absolute favorite directors. I mean, I was like so into Edward Scissorhands as a kid, and of course to get to work with, Jack Nicholson and Glenn Close and Lucas Haas, and it was just like a dream come true to get to be on that set. It was a very short part for me, but I really loved getting to work on it.
I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war.
So Star Wars Episode 1, George Lucas was incredible to work with. He's just such a smart person and very kind person too, and it was just interesting to get to spend time with him and, of course, get some insight into his ability to invent this world that didn't exist that now is like a very big part of the cultural lexicon. I remember I'd been to Japan. I went to Kabuki theater, and when I saw the sort of drawings for Queen Amidala, I was like, oh my God, that reminds me of the Kabuki. And so I tried as a 16-year-old to kind of like channel that influence because that it was such a specific style and the slow kind of movement and very kind of dreamlike, but I mean, I don't know if any of it reads. You're paying attention to the spaceships.
We're not gonna make out or anything.
What?
I'm sorry. I just like totally ruined that moment, didn't I?
No.
It's just that like we're not gonna make out, okay?
Oh, no,
I read the script, and it was one of those things where like I read the script and really responded, and everyone around me was like, you don't need to be doing this. This is some random movie from this random first-time director. Zach was incredible. He was a great director. We filmed that in like 25 days also, and we had the best time, and it was just really fun, kind of like young people making a movie together. And then it was really exciting when the movie came out and had this kind of like moment where people really responded to it.
That was like really, I'm sorry, forget I just said that. That's dumb.
I saw this face, this vision. You were perfect.
Life goes easy.
Closer was one of the greatest pieces of writing I've ever read. Patrick Marber's just absolutely one of our great writers.
I suddenly had this feeling that everything was connected. We're all part of it.
We were shooting in Berlin, which was an amazing place, and with the Wachowskis, who are interesting, provocative, smart, and very kind people. And so it was wonderful to have that combination of like really, really challenging, interesting, relevant material. Playing that character was a real gift. I really like begged for that part because I was so into the graphic novel. Yeah, and shaving my head was a great experience in life, not just in film. It's surprising how something so simple can make you feel like what a big deal so many gender expectations are on you, and how different people treat you and how different people look at you just from your hair, which is kind of crazy.
Are we ready for it?
I don't sleep, mother off that yak and that Durban, doing 120, getting hit while I'm swerving.
Damn, Natalie, you a crazy chick.
You shut the up and suck my.
The Lonely Island rap for SNL, I think the idea for the rap came partly out of me saying to the Lonely Island guys that I really was into hardcore rap, and they were surprised by that. That just kind of came out of that conversation. It was such a dream come true to get to do Saturday Night Live, and then more fun and more crazy than I ever imagined. Just one of the greatest experiences in my career. And I remember, I mean, this really dates me, but it was like kind of the beginning of YouTube. We kind of were like, what is this thing? You give your content for free. And it was like this whole new kind of concept. And also I think I had been really painted as like this like good, proper, serious girl, like college girl, you know, and so it was fun to kind of play with people's expectations of me or go against them.
I'm busting dudes bounce like gushers, mother. Roll up on NBC and smack the shit out Jets.
Black Swan was an incredible experience for so many reasons. I had always loved dance so much, and it's kind of the art I most am moved by. It expresses things that I feel like can't be expressed by other media. It took like 10 years for it to come together. It was such an incredible opportunity to get to kind of like live out this fantasy of doing all this dance training and working with an incredible choreographer who became you know, my partner, and I really feel like it pushed me as an actor and as an artist. And Darren, he was a great collaborator. I felt like Darren genuinely was interested in my point of view and my input, and it really felt like a partnership. When I saw the final cut of Black Swan, I was completely surprised by what the movie was like. I thought we were shooting something like almost like documentary style, and I watched it and was like, oh, this is like an over-the-top thriller. It was an amazing kind of wake-up call that film is a director's medium, and you kind of, as an actor, have no idea what is going on and are kind of being led and shaped. On A Tale of Love and Darkness, I was really excited to direct, and it was the first time I really just envisioned a film. While I was reading the book, I saw it in my mind, and I felt really strongly that I had to do it. And I think really changed me as an actor too, because to watch yourself over and over and over again, to learn how to give yourself kind of feedback that makes you change your performance. It felt very close to parenting to me. Like your job is really to try and get the best out of everyone. And like, how can you support and encourage people to get their best contribution to the project?
I believe that the characters we read about on the page end up being more real than the men who stand beside us.
Well, Jackie, which came out in 2016, was a very lucky experience because I was terrified of playing a real-life character whose people were so familiar with, too. You know, I had played like Anne Boleyn before, but no one knew what she looked like or walked like or talked like, when Jackie's so iconic. I don't think I ever would have done it, except that I was living in Paris and they were shooting in Paris. It just logistically really fit in with my life at that time. Working with the director, Pablo Larraín, was just an incredible collaboration, and it's so interesting. Like, the way he works is just different from the way I had ever worked before. And then the character was unexpectedly so rich and ripe for imagination. I thought that with someone real that you would be almost constricted by having to be like, stick to the facts. But she's so fascinating. There's so much we don't know. Like, the more we know, the less we know almost, because there are so many gaps in the information, and it makes you wonder so much. And she was really just such an incredible figure. I was under a lot of stress after my accident, but that's what this show is about. It's about rebirth. Vox Lux, which is coming out this year in 2018. The whole film was shot in, I think, 22 days, and it was really fast, and I did a lot of prep because the character talks a lot. She has like these huge monologues and a Staten Island accent, so I worked with my dialect coach a lot on the material beforehand. And then, of course, I also had the prep for the singing and dancing stuff. I recorded the music before and then learned all the dance routines, which were choreographed by my husband, so that made it a little more fun and easier because it was at home. I think what I have taken out of the roles has been more speaking to my personality, or like the experiences, and who I've worked with that has been a great collaborator that has drawn things out of me that make me feel more free and more able to explore things.